A day of unspeakable terror unfolded across the United States in a 24-hour period, with a series of deadly and shocking attacks that have left the nation reeling. The carnage began in New Orleans and Las Vegas, spread to the heart of New York City, and each attack appeared to be part of a coordinated effort with devastating consequences. The third of these tragedies took place on the evening of January 1st in the bustling neighborhood of Jamaica, Queens. At approximately 11:18 p.m., chaos erupted outside a popular event venue when gunmen opened fire on a crowd of about 90 people. The gunmen, believed to be 4 young men, approached the crowd and began shooting indiscriminately, firing over 30 rounds into the unsuspecting group. Within moments, 10 people, 6 women and 4 men, were injured, with several left in critical condition. Authorities quickly responded and all victims were rushed to nearby hospitals, but none of the injuries are believed to be life-threatening. Law enforcement is investigating whether the shooting was gang-related or the result of an ongoing personal dispute.
Our initial investigation revealed that approximately 90 people were inside the location in an upstairs private event space. The venue was at capacity and a queue of about 15 people formed outside awaiting as other attendees exited. 4 males were walking eastbound on 91st Avenue onto 144th Place towards the venue. 3 to 4 males then opened fire over 30 times in the direction of the group standing outside the event space, striking multiple victims. The males fled on foot westbound on 91st Street towards 143rd Place, where they entered a light-colored sedan with out-of-state plates.
As the city's police force works to track down the suspects, one question hangs over the incident. Was this just an isolated act of violence, or was it a larger part of a coordinated series of attacks? Just hours before the Queens shooting, Las Vegas was rocked by a horrifying explosion at 8:40 a.m. on January 2nd. The source of the explosion was a Tesla Cybertruck, which detonated outside the Trump International Hotel. The blast, powerful enough to send debris flying across the Las Vegas Strip, killed the individual inside the truck and injured at least 7 others nearby. Initial reports suggest that the truck contained a variety of explosives, including fireworks and fuel canisters, pointing to a deliberate act of violence. Authorities are working to determine the motive behind the attack and whether it was targeted at the Trump family or linked to a broader act of terrorism. The FBI is currently investigating the possibility of connections to extremist groups, including potential ties to the ISIS-inspired New Orleans attack just hours earlier.
Do I think it's a coincidence? I don't know, but what I can tell you is we're absolutely investigating any connectivity to what happened in New Orleans, as well as other attacks that have been occurring around the world. We're not ruling anything out yet. Yeah, so the question is there any links to ISIS? And I will tell you that we don't have any indication of that here in Las Vegas, no overt ISIS flag as was seen in New Orleans, but again, we are investigating every aspect of this.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk confirmed that the explosion was not caused by any mechanical failure, suggesting foul play was involved. We are working with law enforcement to fully understand the origin of this tragedy, Musk said in a statement. As the city of Las Vegas struggled to contain the aftermath of the explosion, the first major act of violence in this 24-hour terror spree took place in New Orleans. A white pickup truck, driven by 42-year-old U.S. Army veteran Shamsuddin Jabbar, plowed through a crowd on Bourbon Street, one of the city's most iconic locations. The truck struck pedestrians running over them and leaving behind a trail of destruction. At least 15 people were killed in the attack, and dozens more were injured as the vehicle wreaked havoc on the crowded street. The truck was found to contain explosives and an ISIS flag, and Jabbar's social media posts revealed a growing radicalization that had led him to carry out the act of terror. Following a brief pursuit, Jabbar engaged in a violent shootout with law enforcement officers, where he was ultimately killed. The FBI has labeled the incident a terrorist attack and is actively investigating Jabbar's connections to international terror groups.
We are working with our partners to investigate this as an act of terrorism. We're aggressively running down all of the leads to identify the possible subject's associates. We're working to ensure that there is no further threat. We do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible. We're aggressively running down every lead, including those of his known associates.
As the nation struggles to make sense of these tragedies, law enforcement officials are working to determine whether there is a link between the three incidents. While the motives behind each attack appear to differ, ranging from possible gang violence to extremist ideologies, the timing and location of the attacks suggest they may have been coordinated.